Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? If you happen to see anything crawling around in the background, don't freak. That's just a bug war getting warmed up. Closer and closer we get to summertime, the worse it's going to become. And you'll see these guys falling out of the sky and still walking around all over the damn place. They're trying to keep the place cold enough so they can suffer. Unfortunately, my dog and I have to do that. Right now, it's 2:27 in the morning West Coast time for Thursday, the 13th of March, 2025. Here's Zombie out here. We verge on Sea of Rosamond, California. Okay. I was trying to go over some notes. So that's my dog whining for me at this point. You'll probably hear more and more of it. Trump is doing a hell of a field day trying to get court cases on his ass. I mean, people are filing lawsuits left and right and jamming up the courts that I don't think old Trump base or gas bag, or whatever I call him, is going to have issues left and right. Speaking of which, hold on. Yep, here she is again. Fuss budget. She already did her business. Trying to get to the notes where I remembered what Trump and Musk and everybody else has been doing and screwing things over left and right. Uh, there was a hearing a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, subcommittee regarding the Doge. And there was one lone Democrat in there yelling and screaming at everybody. And yelling and screaming that Musk isn't in there to get his ass reamed. All these changes happening, including in the committee chairpersons. I don't even know who he is. I should have researched that one. But apparently there was over 100,000 in this guy's district affected by all the changes happening. Medicaid and Social Security greatly, drastically affected. Department of Education, we wish we had that kind of influence. The Department of Education is going away. Half the staff's already gone. Half the staff's already gone on that one. Hell, half the staff's already gone in Social Security. It had been reported that the phone lines were going to be taken down, but there was a lot of outrage and uproar in this one, including Congress, that they finally decided, okay, they're not going to touch the phone lines for Social Security. Going after the money is a different thing altogether. Medicaid had already been affected, had been affecting a great deal of places throughout the country over the past week or two. There was a nursing home that was being reported in the news. They had to relocate a lot of people because those who existed on Medicaid and Social Security for their rental, well, Medicaid had been taken care of, actually been taken out. Kansas City area. Kansas City. I was keeping track of a Fox News report in there. They're closing within a couple of weeks. Well, less than that. Staff's been trying to find alternative housing for the residents, the long terms. And the residents are terrified. They're not just scared, they're terrified. One woman was being interviewed and she was showing fear. I'm scared of the situation happening over here in California. What if? If I happen to be put into a nursing home, hopefully without the damn frickin' bugs, just how am I going to be able to live if Social Security and Medicaid gets gutted out here? It's bad enough my schooling is going to get affected. Is going to be affected. Half the staff of the Department of Education has already been tossed out already. So I'm wondering about the grants that I've been existing on for over a decade just to get through the damn school. Because of my disability status and also my SNAP. I'm a SNAP kind of guy. That's being affected right there. And what pissed me off, I mean, I really pissed off on this one. Where I went thermal on my videos on this. Trying to apologize to a reverend for me going off on at him because of it. Because it's affecting SNAP all over the country. Where the USDA having billions pulled that affect the program and other food programs across the country. Programs that we survive and thrive out here. Well, thrive? How about just survive on? The food giveaways, they're needed. The food for seniors at our senior center out here in Roseman, California, it's needed. We need the federal funding for it. We need to see the federal funding supply trucks coming in. But without those trucks, we have a community center that's going to be canceling out free lunches for the seniors and disabled, mostly the seniors. And this sucks because school lunches will be affected. Now, I tried to raise a warning with my town. They don't care. Lack of apathy. Nobody cares. They're laughing about it. They think it's fake news. Despite the fact I showed them news reports about it, I think it's all fake news. There's so much with the Trump government, it's not even funny. They think they're going to be cleaning out house. Well, I'm waiting for the programs to die out here. I'm waiting for school lunch programs to die out here. I'm waiting for the food deliveries to stop. For the food banks. Not to mention for our community center out here. If not just to say, ha 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 ha, I told you. No. I warned them. They don't care. They get it. There's not much more I can say or do about it. They want to stress? Well, they're going to stress. And I'm not going to do a damn thing. I told them. I warned them. She's on it. Hold on. Since Trump got into office and spattered off all those terror problems he's got and starts talking about allies, even the ones next door to our borders, they're doing a reciprocal. Australia, which is leagues away from us, aren't going to do any tariffs. They know how dangerous it is getting into a trade war. Trump still wants the golden age. He wants the gilded age. Come back on his style, where he's flowing through the money and he's having a field day while everybody else is suffering like crazy. That's why he made the promises regarding Social Security, because he wants it gutted. He lied to the people. He had Trump. He had Musk come in, and now they're doing tap dances on the Social Security, getting rid of people, trying to discredit people, saying that it's a Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's money we put into there for retirement. It's not the greatest 401 out there, but it is a safety net, and they're cutting the net into pieces. And the voters voted this shit in. Does anybody ever take accountability, transparency, or responsibility for the bullshit they've got here? I do. I didn't vote for these bastards. I voted against the bastards, but I didn't do enough job convincing people about it. They simply weren't convinced. They don't, even if they were presented the evidence, they still thought it was fake news. They bought into the fake news crap all over the place. And yes, they know corporate media sometimes bullshits them a little bit. Media has its own slant. They don't want to think about shit like this. Nope, they don't. Take away education, and what do you got? People don't want to use their brains. So they think the news clippets are going to be it without doing research of what the hell they need. This is what I can't stand. Dumbass people, but they claim me. I'm a libtard, don't know, ask my hot rock, and I'm a liar. I am a liar, according to them. Well, I provide news stories for them. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want to read it, watch it, or anything. They think it's bull. They want to keep cowering their heads. They think I'm an alarmist. Well, I'm ringing an alarm, but you guys ain't listening to it. So if the wildfire hits us, well, I'm not the one going to be living in ashes. I'm not going to be the only one living in ashes. They all are. So, crap's going to happen. And it's going to piss off people left and right. And they think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's okay. We're definitely in a situation that's going to be affecting us. So yeah, that's got me not concerned for the damn town. They can go. They're going to live with it. They're going to deal with it. They have their kids put on buses to go to the schools we have out here. We got one high school, two junior highs, and maybe three elementaries. And we got a busing service out here. What happens if the funding for the busing goes out? Then what are they going to do? These people commute. Are they going to be able to drop the kids off? Some of them actually do. They bitch and gripe about the traffic situations left and right. So it's going to be a little worse than them. But for the ones who are actually out here who need the money, who need the school money to get food for their kids, because they may not be able to eat during the daytime, and if school money, if the money for the school meal program is cut off, what are they going to do? Starve? I've been on the programs a long time ago. I know what it's like being on SNAP. I know I grew up under the stigma a long time ago. 70s and 80s, yeah, there was stigma to it, to the food stamps. I thought you were less than anything. You didn't have much of an income coming in, and you're depending upon the kindness of strangers for survival, even if your pay was not the greatest. Didn't matter. People get thinking that people on SNAP are lazy. I used to work for Walmart a long time ago. Some of them employees were on SNAP. The pay wasn't so great. The bills were getting out of hand, so was the food prices. They all qualified for food stamps while they worked in a place full of food. They worked hourly jobs. Some of them, or actually most of them, part-time. Very few of them full-time. And if they were, they're fortunate. But even then, you're still qualified for food stamps. I was qualified for food stamps. I started as a part-time cashier for about a year. Now, we needed the food stamps, and we needed the food giveaways during that time. I had a mother who was disabled, and I had a brother who was also disabled that depended upon me. And my brother was a caregiver. He had bad neck, he had bad back, and two bad knees. And we were still taking care of our disabled mother. He was on in-home health support, being paid by the state of California to take care of Mama. The last few years of her life in a hospital bed. And me, I'm just working, get a full-time job after a year of part-time cashiering. Still doing cashiering, but do a little more things in an automotive department that is dangerous, but I still did it anyway. So, I even slipped and fell. Rattled and jarred my back, my spine. A few years later in the job, tire dropped on me, damn near killed me. Out the door I go. Get another sucker for the damn job. Place still operates. People shift around. Wounded. Forget it. Left it dead. Outside the company. So yeah, I know what it's like to be undisabled for a long while. Back, neck, now feet, neuropathy in the hands. Health conditions happening, mental health. Hell, they thought of mental health over here all the way. I should get help. That's not the help you guys are looking for, guys. If the town goes under because they can't get the federal help necessary to keep some of the programs alive, I'm not blaming. I'm not going to yell and scream it's all your fault because I know it is their fault. They allowed it to happen. So I'm going to stay out of it. I have to stay out of it. I already told them too much information, but they don't listen or believe. So, meanwhile, if the White House is getting a lot of feedback and pushback, it's because the constituents are yelling at Congress, and Congress is yelling at the White House is doing all this shit. And they're telling them that the constituents are not going to be happy about the damn shit. Imagine having a truck show outside the White House lawn. That's what they had. The electric vehicles for an infomercial. Presented by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. We're supposed to be doing the work of the people. Instead, he's doing the work of an asshole. That Trump hired to make changes in the government. A lot worse than what they are right now. They want to grift so damn badly, they're doing it on a constant basis. That's all they know how to do. And the voters got them in. And here's the thing, the Republicans are going to have to get off their dead asses. More so to understand that they're going to have to pull a 25th. Problem is they got J.D. Vance out there. And they've also got Mike Johnson. 3 major heavies. And then you got the entire cabinet. Now you got the entire cabinet to deal with. And the Senate. I don't know who's going to be our leader that's going to be taking care of the country the way it should be. Because the Republicans, the Trumplicans in there in power, don't care. They're going to get their money one way or another. For decades, they've been going after Social Security ever since the damn thing was created back in the 30s. So every time there was a Republican president, he always vowed that it was going to get taken. It was going to get taken down. They wanted the money. People put money in for survival. Prior to 30s, people struggled with if they actually had any 401ks, if they actually had any. They struggled with what they had working for, paycheck per paycheck. Till the economy tanked. And the thing is, according to what I kept learning about history in college, woke college liberalism, this was not the first Great Depression we had. We've had several of them in our country's history. Gilded Age. People get trying to make rich. Billionaires get more money. And paper stock. The only major ones we remember was the 1930 crash. But there had been other crashes that we had to recover from. And try to make laws to recover from that and have the laws revoked. Make executive orders and they get revoked. A struggling country that still can't get its act together. And right now, that's what we're dealing with. Billionaires want the money from people. Instead of finding other programs to cut out, they cut out aid for foreign countries that's necessary besides for national security is for humanitarian. It's called empathy. One thing about the Muscovite that's in charge of tearing apart our government, he lacks it. He doesn't care. He said so himself in interviews that they're rebroadcasting and that they keep posting. He doesn't have the empathy. He thinks there's some national or global empathy out there. Or a suicide empathy, he calls it. Like, what the hell are you talking about, a suicide empathy? What the hell is that? Nobody's heard about that one. You're not empathetic for people losing jobs? Hell, his former co-workers at Tesla and SpaceX are bitching about him. They got to report it in the papers. They got to report it in the news feeds out there. It's on the internet. That they're constantly reporting about Trump, not about Trump, but by Musk. He doesn't have any empathy for people. Fire you at the drop of a hat. Quick to fire. He thinks people are just, you know, they're workers, that's about it. You don't like the way they're doing things, or you don't like them, period, get rid of them. High turnaround. Turnstile, working style, conditions. Going through revolving doors. You're in the company, you're out of company before you know it. It's not a nice way to run a company or have an atmosphere that people like to work in. They kept cheering every time the SpaceX ships go up and blow up. They think they're learning something. He keeps pushing them, his company, his staff, if he's still retaining enough of them. Faster, faster, faster. I don't know what his major malfunction is. He even goes over to South Africa and he's pissed off that the whites aren't treated properly. Guy grew up under the apartheid. No wonder he's got a problem. He's apartheid in his head still. Doesn't like race. Hardly seen any DEI in his companies. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like diversity, equity, and integrity. Or integration, actually. Keep switching that I around a few times. Diversity of all sorts. I bet you he doesn't even like Star Trek. He probably watched it, but he couldn't deal with it. Star Trek kept dealing with DEI. A Vulcan motto, a philosophy that they lived with. Infinite diversity and infinite combinations. They valued life. Basis for a federation of planets. You may disagree with each other, but you still value each other because they're different, they're unique, and they're life. Musk doesn't get it. Trump wants to grift money. That's all he understands. Apparently, there's been word that Trump had lost his mind a long time ago. He started calling a senator, denigrating him a great deal. I'm not about to say it. This one senator, because of his heritage, what he grew up under, what he was raised under, what he was, period, denigrated for years by the trash bag. In an interview, actually at a press conference happening with the Irish delegate in the White House, They had to listen to Trump's mouth going off. How he insults people left and right. How he doesn't value people left and right. And how he will constantly insult, and then he wanted to get another question from the reporters. The thing that the reporters had listened to prior before the next or the okay. There was a question concerning about why our economies are not like Ireland's economy. Trump found excuses and blamed this one senator. I got too much respect for the guy not to make him a spectacle, but he already made himself into a spectacle. If he really had a problem concerning about Trump's constant attacks about his heritage, he wasn't on a constant fume, that's for damn sure. But he's got a little more integrity and respect than Trump will ever give him credit for. Because Trump doesn't care. It does Musk. It's part of who the senator is who's making headway. And he's lead Democrat in the Senate. To do this major insult on him is discrediting everybody. Trump has a caricature in his head about what the Jewish people should be. And because of the situation happening in the Middle East for a hell of a long while, they're still constantly doing it. Trump finds a way of insulting people left and right. Hell, when he went after Obama, when Obama was running for office, he kept challenging the birth. They kept challenging Obama. Trump went after 5 innocent people in New York City. Make sure that the town turned against him, this group of people. It only took him decades to get justice, but not enough of it. Trump wouldn't back down. He's an instigator. He's a big bully. He and Musk are thick as thieves. But now the people are rebelling. But the people have to know. See, the problem is with ignorance at this point regarding the government system. Without understanding the basis of the United States government, they think and they claim they would, but they don't actually. The line of succession we have right now is we have the president. Once he's out of commission by the 25th Amendment. Vice president. 25th gets him out of office. Now you got the Speaker of the House. After that, pro tem, Senate. After that, it's the cabinet members all the way down to the last end is the Secretary of Defense. There's about 24, 25 of them, maybe 30, somewhere in that time. Somewhere about that amount. But it's the entire cabinet. If we had a full cabinet, that is. Past the 25th, and this was done in the 20th century to get a line of succession just in case. Then thought we'd be able to get this one in operation here. Still not quite sure about it. I'd never seen it in action. It came close. Richard Nixon. After the second term, he was going after the Democratic Party like crazy. Watergate. Well, you guys want to do your study Watergate. What the hell happened to Nixon? He was going through the House, and they were going to impeach his ass. It was the Senate that really did what really did the damage on him. House would gather the evidence, and they would go through the committees, and they would talk about it publicly. They already hung a few other people out to dry. Nixon was next. Nixon resigned. Signed the paper, got out of office because of the 25th Amendment. Actually, he just resigned, period. He was going to have Ford step in. He already talked to Ford. Ford already pardoned his ass. He should have never been pardoned. He should have been prosecuted and railroaded. Same thing for Trump. Trump's been on the ultimate kick. Day by day, we hear horror stories of what's happening, and we hear people trying to push the boundaries of what our political figures can and can't do. I've also seen absolute devotion and worship. My town does that, both. Absolute devotion and worship. They think Trump is their king, their God. Trump pushed a lot of evangelicals out there, claiming he was anointed by God to do this. Well, they kept calling him the Antichrist. But if one looked at it, according to a pastor, the Antichrist was going to be doing everything opposite end of what Christ was doing. So in essence, yeah, Trump and Musk and everybody else are the Antichrist. Except the constituents are not going to let them live it down. It's going to be coming fast for the midterms. But during that time, are we going to be able to survive this, or what the hell are we going to do? What are we going to do? That's the question. What's our answer to it? If the courts are not able to be followed, what else is there for the people in this country to do? Again, I keep bringing up 1860 and 1776. I should have been bringing up 1812 as well. Things in history we should have been learning about a long time ago, and we keep failing at it. And I'm just going to keep pushing out the numbers because I want people to understand. We have a tyrant king installed. And if the executive branch and if Congress won't assist, and if the legal are being forced into decisions that they can't deal with, because nobody will bother to abide by the law, then what good is our country? What good is a countryman? What good is everything that we held sacred? Or do we still hold it sacred? What's your choice, America? What are you going to do? If the laws of the land are not going to be followed, if the Constitution is not going to be obeyed, if we are allowing pluralism to die off, what choice do we have? And if you can't think of it, well, I guess we're all in the quagmire, aren't we? You can't accept transparency, responsibility, or accountability because you just won't do it. You screamed and yelled at for years against militant groups. They were afraid of government takeover. Well, guess what? Were they right? The ultimate last resort. And I'm not fond of the idea either. I'd prefer the courts doing the job. But if we don't have the courts doing the job, and if people won't obey the courts or even the law of the land,